Right. What's going on, y'all? Gonzo's Convo, Season 5. We're now on episode 30. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hey there, this is soccer chick underscore 44 from Instagram.
Absolutely. So, you said you play soccer like full time professionally type deal, or how does that go?
No, I play soccer on different leagues.
Oh,
Right now I'm old, I'm past my prime, so right now I'm just playing on different leagues. I play with women's leagues, co-ed.
oh,
So just on the side, I already played 4 years in college.
you said
So
you said past your prime. You don't look like you're past your prime.
whew, yeah, way past it. I'm
So,
super
so
past.
what originally got you into playing soccer, or
Playing
as
soccer.
people where I'm from, they call it football. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I know, right? I got into playing honestly when I was like 2 years old, 3 years old, because my dad was super into it and my brother really was into it. So it's
Okay.
kind of like to do it to like annoy my brother. um, and then I remember when I got to like middle school, my dad was like forcing me to do it, and I was like, I don't really want to do this shit anymore.
Yeah.
But me and my brother would do it together, and then like I kind of fell back in love with it again, and ever since then, like I never let go. Like after, like in high school, like I just never let go of it, and I got pregnant really young. I got pregnant at 17, and like I was gonna go to school, get a scholarship for it, ruined that, and then I went to community college and played there, and then I went and played at a university 2 years later, or for another 2 years after that. So it ended up working out pretty
Okay.
well.
So how was the university life as an athlete?
Um, well, going to the university, playing on the soccer team, and then and having a kid,
Mhm.
it was crazy. It was hard. Um, it was a lot of time spent away from your kid, so
Yeah.
there were some hardships there. And I was working. I've always been a person that's like living in chaos, doing a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Right now myself, I do a bunch of things. I wear a lot of hats. I work a lot. But I think it's just like the nature of what I went through. But it wasn't horrible. I was getting good grades. I wanted to get good grades. I had a scholarship, an academic
Yeah.
scholarship. So I had to be on my shit. If not, they'd take my money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
For sure.
I'm like, fuck, I gotta be on my stuff. I had to get good
Yeah.
grades.
I don't say that. That's probably the thing that scares me about college, honestly. Because like right after I graduated high school, like I wasn't even thinking about going to college or anything like that.
No, hell yeah. And like nowadays, like I listen to a lot of podcasts actually, which is nice, right? I'm gonna start
Okay.
listening to yours. And it's crazy because they talk about that a lot, how like nowadays people don't really want to go to college, to university. They're more on like trying to build a business online, do stuff on like social media, which is great. It sucks for us people that did go to college. Like I went to the university. I have a master's degree and like multiple specializations. So it sucks for me because I'm like, damn, I probably could have made it into this too, like getting more into social media, which people think I have. I mean, I get little deals and little things like that on the sides, but I
Yeah.
feel like I've made it like people have made it where they're like, I feel like if I did this shit full time, I really could do it. I just, like I said, I wear multiple hats. So,
Yeah. I was gonna
you
say
know,
I feel like that's the big culture thing in our generation is social media being big and doing your thing on social media is like the number one thing for a lot of people, especially those around my age, for sure.
for sure, for sure. And I'm like, kudos to everybody that does that and that can do it full time, can't even hate on it because it's just honestly, if you can do something that you love and I mean, I'm a therapist, so I talk to people. So it's still talking to people and connecting with people, but it's definitely different than like being on social media, having the freedom, doing what you want, you can kind of just it's more chill, right? Like there's not as much regulation, free speech. So it's I don't know. I think it's better in a sense to do it on social media.
I think something happened to your audio.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's back now. You're good. You're
It's
good.
okay, my bad.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it went.
I'm in Chicago, so it was really windy as fuck today. It was like a windy ass day, and then it was like raining. Like our weather's been crazy in the fall.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, when I went to Chicago, I was like, it's too cold. I could never live here.
you gotta come. You gotta come summertime shy. You gotta come in the summer.
Yeah, I want to check it out in the summer, not the winter. The winter was too much. I was like, damn.
Fuck the winter, bro. On some real shit.
Yeah,
It's
it's the cold. I don't do well with the cold at all. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And I'm not a big person either. So like when it's real windy and cold, like I got nothing really protecting me like that.
You'll
So
fly away. You'll fly away in this bitch. I swear, we be ready to like, oh shit, let me fucking stabilize myself.
yeah, I've been in wind like that where it's like making me like move a little faster. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
okay, it's like that. Yeah, but I mean, Chicago's Chicago. I mean, it's a place for some people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I come. It's funny I say that though because I come from originally from Colorado, so we get our brutal winters as well.
Oh
We get
shit.
all 4 seasons, but I never liked it. That's the thing people don't understand. Like they're like, "Oh, you from Colorado? You should be used to this shit." Nah,
How was
never.
how was the food out there for you? Because you were there. I'm almost interviewing you, but how was the food over there in Colorado? Was it like I didn't like it when I went.
Well, what did you have when you went out there?
I had all kinds of shit because I'm a foodie. So I was like, let me get this, let me get Mexican, let me get Italian, and everything was like just miss. Like maybe I wasn't going to the right spots. I don't even know where the hell I was in Colorado, honestly, but maybe I wasn't going to the right spots.
I'm
That could
about
be
to
the
say I come from like southern Colorado, so like we're known for like the Pueblo green chili and stuff like that. All the Mexican food.
yeah.
So it depends on what kind of Mexican food you had, because if the Mexican food was bad, you definitely went to the bad spot.
That's what I'm saying too. Like, and over here in Chicago, and I feel like depending on where you go, I don't know if you've noticed, like the meat be different everywhere.
Yeah,
You get,
yeah, it's a little sketchy if you ask me.
oh, meat be different. Like even when I go to Mexico, like the meat be different down there, and I'm like, oh, like this ain't like the meat in Chicago. This ain't it. But
You got to be careful in Mexico too, because it might not be chicken or beef. It might be some pit bull, some Labrador in
don't
there.
tell me that. Well,
I'm serious. That's some real shit. Like some people like fuck it. We don't got enough meat coming in. Get the dogs going. It's
well,
fucked up, but because I'm a dog person, so
I know that shit is fucked up though. I can't imagine doing that shit.
yeah,
Ugh.
nah. If I found out I ate a dog, like I'm gonna feel bad for a long time.
Hell yeah. Hell
Like
yeah. I would too.
yeah, it's crazy. And then but speaking of Mexico, I can't even go down there no more. It's too crazy.
For real? What part are you from?
I'm not. Well, my family they come from Jalisco, so
Oh,
you
me
know
too. What part of Jalisco you by?
I want to say Guadalajara, but I'm not too sure. I want to say pretty much all over Jalisco because my family was there. Like they were nomadic. They were very very much so moving around and stuff. That's how they ended up here. Back in the day. But
I'm
yeah.
right there. I'm in Ciudad Guzman, Jalisco.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, right by
That's
Zapopan
where
there.
that's where all of us Juaritos come from.
I know, right? I'm dark skinned. Shit. Right now I'm light because of the winter, but I get dark in the summer.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, summertime I get that good tan. The winter comes, I get fucking pasty as hell, and I don't like it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I actually didn't know you was Mexican too, so that's cool.
For real?
Yeah.
What I was? Let me see what you thought I was, because everybody thinks I'm something.
Well, I wasn't gonna be like the typical person that like sees skin tone as like, oh, white. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely knew there was a mixture in there of something. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like you could pass as like Cuban, Puerto Rican. I get Puerto Rican a lot, to be honest. So
Yeah, bro, you do. Yeah, you kind of look. You could be anything too.
yeah, but yeah, you definitely have like a mixture, like you have good looking mixture going on.
Oh yeah, full Mexican. Well, born here, right? But
Yeah. So
like
you're,
I
fir-
could.
you're so you're so you're a first generation.
Yeah, first generation.
Oh damn, yeah, I'm like a fourth generation. I grew up around Chicanos and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That makes
I'm more used to Chicano culture and stuff. So it's funny whenever I do go to Mexico, they're like, nah, like you're not Mexican enough to be here.
they be talking shit about your Spanish and shit.
Yeah, because they don't be saying like orale and Simon and shit like that over there. It's
Oh
crazy.
yeah, like Cali talk. Like I would be like over here, like rough. Like we don't really be saying like fool and shit like that. Like over here, people use other lingo. I'm not gonna say.
Over in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago, like we'll use fool and stuff like that, but they use other terms. Um,
Oh, you talking about the N word?
yeah, a lot of people, yeah, or bro, or they just use other words, and It's definitely different than like, you know,
Now,
how
now that's where it's interesting, right? Because me, I don't like using that word either. I don't like using that word. I don't think that's something that should be used by us, to be honest with you. But
mm-mm.
and I have cousins that say it too, like it's normal. And I've been told by because I have a lot of black homies too, and they're like, yeah, you guys. I've been told.
Oh wait, I can't hear you. Yeah, I
Hold on,
got
let
you.
me.
I got you.
So what I was saying was like a lot of my cousins and a lot of Mexicans I know, they say the N word like it's normal. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like it. You know,
Yeah,
I don't think it should be used by us type of deal. That's not our word to
I feel
use.
like in Chicago. Yeah, I feel like in Chicago it's just like really widely used. Like, I mean, I hear it all the time. Like people will say it like it's, you know, all types of people like it's normal in conversation. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
shit, you know what I mean? But
yeah. And I've heard
I mean,
Caucasian
it's all
people say
kinds
it.
of terminology.
Yeah, I've
You
heard
know,
Caucasian people say it no problem too. And it's like, I mean, if they grew up around
it's just
black
I
people
feel like
and
it
they got a pass,
depends. Yeah.
you said what?
I said I feel like yeah, like it definitely like depends. Like some people like it's like a cultural thing, but
Yeah,
um,
but like my
I'm
thing
more
is,
like bro.
yeah, I
Mhm.
don't say my thing is though, like if they let's say they're traveling to like different states and stuff like that, and they're still comfortable using that, they don't know the people out there, so they're definitely gonna get checked type of deal.
You
You know,
gotta modify it, you know, if you are like into that, you know,
yeah,
the way you're talking.
definitely, definitely. But I mean, if
Yeah.
you don't even use it, you don't even say it, you got nothing to worry about. I usually
Hmm.
just stick to what I know. I say way a lot when I speak, especially when I speak Spanish. I say vato, like I just stick to my stuff.
I feel like I'm like an old lady. Like I'll say like dude or bro or.
Nah, that don't make you old.
I
You thought that made you old?
feel like I do. I don't know.
Nah, nah.
Like, dude, man, what the fuck? I play sports though, so it's like for me, cursing is really big. Like I have a potty mouth. Like I'll
Oh,
curse.
I'm terrible with it.
Me too. Me too. I'm like, damn, I gotta stop saying bad words. Like
Like I don't know how to shut it off, type of deal. Like I'll be talking to someone random and it'll just come out. But
I'm really good with it. Like when I'm working with kids, like it won't come out. But like if you see me around adults, it's like night and day.
for real. So I mean,
Hmm.
at least you know how to shut that off because I feel like even like when I'm around kids, I'm like I gotta like keep my stuff at a level. I gotta keep it at a minimum of what I say.
Yeah, for sure.
Short sentences.
But working in social media, I mean, like, how is that for you? Like, do you feel yourself watching more what you say? Do you feel yourself like not watching what you say?
So to be honest, especially because my stuff's explicitized, no, not at all.
Mhm.
I just go with the flow. Whatever I say, what is whatever I say type of
That's
deal.
good. Yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
people are careful because of reputation. You know, they want to, like earlier, what we were talking about, that's something that can ruin
Yeah,
your,
it can. But that's why like especially in this generation, people need to be their authentic self. And that's something you don't really see too often, if I'm gonna be real. You
yeah.
have people following the same trends as other people, trying to be like other people that are doing their thing, and they're not being their true selves, if that makes sense. So the way I present myself, this is the true me you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? This is me.
You're
You know?
right. Yeah. That's how it should be, you know?
Yeah. So the fact that I'm explicitized on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, like I see it as a blessing. I'm like, that's cool because I can freely speak whatever I want to do, and I can freely do what I
Yeah.
want to do as I'm talking.
So not
You
everybody has that, huh?
Not everybody, but some people do. It
Yeah.
just it just depends on what your content is type deal. And the only reason my stuff is explicitized again because of the cussing, and on YouTube is because sometimes people smoke and drink on there, which I'm like whatever.
Yeah. That's nice.
But overall, though, like going on to the topic of this generation, like what do you think about it from your point of view?
Um, Relationships? You want to get into that?
We can get into relationships and dating vibes. Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah,
Cause I got a lot to say. I think we we're all the way fucked up. Like people just want to like hit it and quit it and just go on to the next.
right.
And There's everything for every situation, but I just feel like it's going overboard, and then people get like depressed. I work in mental health. They get
Yeah.
depressed, they get anxiety, they don't know how to behave, and then it's just a full-on cycle of just being miserable and not feeling fulfilled. And that's
Mhm.
my honest opinion, because everybody wants to create some sort of closeness with like another human being. Like it's necessary. Like there's been experiments where like you need that.
Yeah.
So all these people that talk about, I love being alone and I love doing it, and it's like that's great. Like it's nice,
It is, but
but
it's like,
those are the same people that are like one person this week, one person next week, one person. You're like, but I thought you
yeah,
liked being alone. You know what I mean? Like
like
I
like 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 I was talking about earlier. They're not being their true selves. They're gonna tell you what you want to hear. They want to tell you what they want you to believe what they're being. If that makes
mhm,
sense, you know. People, I hear
exactly.
that shit all the time. Like, I'd rather be single. This, single bitches forever. And yeah, next thing you know, they're talking to some dude, and that doesn't work out. They're getting fucked by another dude. It doesn't work out, and it's crazy.
It's a
But the dudes
cycle.
are, but we're talking about the females here, but the dudes are no better either. You know what I'm saying? Dudes
Girls
don't.
and guys.
The dudes don't know how to flirt in this day and age. And the reason why I say that is because they're so stuck on social media, so stuck on text messages and all this shit. They don't really know how to have like that in person, face to face type of vibe, in my opinion.
Yeah, like, but I also think it's the person that you're trying to get with that makes it so easy for you. Like,
Mm,
if you don't have no standards, you know what I mean? Like, where your standards at? Have you ever
yeah,
like? I mean, I'm sure you've met people that you're thinking in your head, where the fuck your standards at? Like,
yeah, absolutely,
I see that a lot.
absolutely. And it's mainly towards my homies because I know the type of females that they're going for. And the thing is they look. The thing about dudes in this generation, they go and look at the looks only.
Oh yes.
They don't give a fuck about the personality as long as she looks good, and that's the wrong way to go about it because that's cool. She has the looks, but let's say you end up dating her, are you gonna tolerate it? You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna be
Mm,
able to tolerate that shit, and vice
I
versa?
don't
Is
know.
the female gonna be able to tolerate the dude's bullshit?
I mean, and it's
People-
hard because like you really have to trust that person. For example, me, I'm in a committed relationship. I've been with my person for almost 10 years. You
Oh
know,
wow,
and
yeah, you're doing it
yeah,
right.
almost 10 fucking years. I'm a relationship person. I'm a little biased because I'm a relationship girl. Like, I like to be in a relationship. I like being loyal. I like being committed. I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah,
Contrary to what people think when they come to my profile, which that's another topic of discussion. Because people come to my profile, think this, that, and I'm like, and then my friends will sit there and defend me and be like, this girl's the most loyal bitch you'll ever meet anywhere. She will never cheat. She will never this. She's loyal as loyal can be. But especially being a person on social media nowadays, like I said, people have a lot of followers and stuff. You look a certain way.
hmm.
People will go to my guy and whisper shit in his ear. You let her and you this.
Which I
Hey,
think is
girl.
bullshit because there's a thing where the social media you is gonna be completely different from the real life version of you. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're into social media and you do shit with social media. That's technically your business account type shit. Like that's your side thing. You know what I'm saying? Versus
Exactly.
real life. And people don't like people understand it, but then they don't want to understand it when they want the drama. And that's what I fucking hate is the drama with that shit.
People love that shit. People and they love to create it for you, and they know that you're building yourself up. They
I've
love to
had people straight up tell me they love drama. They love to argue. And I'm like, how? Like that's
uh,
just stresses me the fuck out. Like how do you like to argue?
I think some people just have deep rooted, and this is the therapist in me. I think people just have like deep rooted issues where they feel like they have to let that out, where they have resentment. Like, say something, you have something that I don't, you have something I don't have. And if
Hmm.
I'm not handling it correctly, like you have this podcast, and like I could be hating on you because you have a podcast. That shit really does happen. And if I don't know how, if I can't be happy for you and be like, not be hating like, oh, I wish I had that, right? Like, I wish I could do that. I could say that and not be hating on you.
Yeah.
But then I can also say that, and I could just be a hateful, spiteful ass bitch. Like, why does he get to have the podcast? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's
I've
like
I've,
deep
def-
rooted shit.
I've definitely gotten both parties. I've gotten the love and I've gotten the hate too.
I
But
bet.
what's cool about it is hate can just stay there in the request the whole fucking time. You don't even got to look at it. You
I do that shit all the time. Dude, oh my God. Like, speaking of, if I could vent, like, I get the most hate from men. I don't know if you get a lot of hate from women. I get
Yes,
so much hate from men. I'm like, what the fuck did I do to you? I haven't even answered or read your stuff.
I'll get hate from women, and then those small times when I reply back, throwing some petty back out of nowhere, some dude or dudes will come in and show some hate too, as if they're their man or some shit. I don't really understand it.
Like, why
Yeah,
were they in your inbox in the first place?
and it's funny because it's like they're clearly not like together, and then the female clearly doesn't know who these dudes are. You know what I'm saying?
I've
It's
had that
just like,
happen where people do defend me though, which I'm like, cause oh my God, there's been some posts I put up. I literally had Instagram take down my fucking comments, dude. Like, cause people
oh
are
shit,
fighting. They're fighting with themselves. They're talking shit. They're fighting about me. They're like, you don't even know her. I'm like, none of y'all motherfuckers know me. Like, bad. Like, turn my comments off, Instagram. And sure enough, Instagram will come and turn my shit off. And I'm like, whatever. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, I don't sit
It
there
don't
and
affect you. It just affects them because they can't comment. Like that's
it only gives me more engagement. So now people, I remember there was this post about my daughter's fucking quince and people were talking hella shit because I put that I saved up money. People were talking hella shit as they were talking hella shit. My fucking views and my likes just went up and up, and I'm like, hell yeah, I keep talking shit. That's why when Instagram cut my shit off, I was like, damn, that was helping me get views and likes.
wait.
I was
Why were they talking shit about a quince?
they were talking shit like put that money in an IRA, or they were saying shit like, why are you putting your daughter having a quince? Do you know the history about a quince? And like that it's exposing a woman. And I'm like, bro, like if my kid wants a quince, and like they don't even know the history, they don't know nothing about me, they don't know that I grew up very poor, they don't know that my parents asked me to do a quince and that I was like, no, I don't want a quince because we don't have money for shit, so I don't
Yeah,
want the quince. They don't know the history of me, so I'm like, I don't give a fuck the history of a quince and all this shit and yada yada yada. I'm doing
yeah,
this because my kid wants it.
right.
Mind your business. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to sit there and explain to you. And that's when stuff hits close to home where you're talking about shit that you're doing personally. And it's like, I want to share that with certain followers because a lot of people were inspired by it.
Yeah,
But there was a lot of women. It was a lot of guys hating again. And there was some little, girls that, I don't know, probably got a BBL fund that they're mad about and, are hating on me and shit, which that's their issue, deep rooted issues once again. But
that's the one that kills me the most is female on female hate because I don't see that one too often, but when I do, it's like, why? Like
see,
why
I'm
is
a
that? Like
female.
usually I see females supporting other females, and it's like we gonna get through this shit together type shit.
Yeah.
But when I see female on female hate, it's I don't know, it hits different
I'm going to
because it's
say
like
this. Don't come to me because I'm going to hurt your feelings. And it's not gonna be, I'm gonna come at you. I'm gonna look at your pictures. I'm gonna look at your follower. I'm gonna say something to you because as women, we should be supporting. That's more petty. I will answer back to you when you're a girl starting stuff.
yeah,
Like an actual girl, not a robot page, not a 2 follower shit. And if you got 2 followers and you're arguing with me, just stop. But at that point, like, it's like I am gonna say some shit back, but it typically isn't. My girls are very supportive. I always try to follow back women. I always
mhm,
try to support women and follow them back when they ask me about certain things. I'm very like, when they ask me about surgery, when they ask me about lip filler, when they ask me about this, what kind of brow, what kind of this, what kind of faja, I'm helping them. Do I know
right,
gatekeepers? I do. Am I a gatekeeper? Nah, bah. I
yeah,
don't gotta do all that shit. You know what I mean? Don't
yeah.
play that.
Which I'm not gonna knock the lip fillers or the body stuff at all. Like to each their own. But also I do also see like these females that they look good already type deal. Like they already look good no matter what type shit, and they still want to get all that stuff done because of that insecurity. I feel like, and I want to be that dude to tell them like, nah, you don't need that. But it's like it's not my place. But
People
I just want
overdo
to
it.
know. I want to know where that insecurity comes from, because there's females like I know they look bad, like I know they look good.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They know it. So I just
No,
want to know exactly where that comes from, where they want to get those lip fillers, those certain body parts done, stuff like that.
I feel like there's a lot of just like insecurity because of social media, but I also think that there's another component to this that not enough people talk about. And that is the addiction. People become addicted to it. And I
Hmm.
mean, I haven't been there because I'm not addicted to it in that way. Like I don't go monthly or yearly to go get things done. I have had things done. But people I know people who are addicted to it. And I'm sitting there like, bro, I'm sitting there looking at them like, you can't touch your nose no more. Like, there's nothing left. There's no more cartilage left. Don't touch your nose anymore. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh my God, like this person's telling me, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Don't put nothing else in your lips. Your lips look like pillows. I want to go to sleep on them motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Don't do nothing else. Don't
Yeah,
put nothing else. Don't go to
yeah,
Tijuana. Don't have them put, fucking frijoles in your lips. Don't do none of that. You know what I mean? Like just, it's already too much. Especially
right.
for people with permanent shit. It's like, man, you putting
Yeah,
permanent. I'm like, man, you can't get that stuff off unless you get surgery. And I try to help girls when they do come to me. I try to help them and lead them in a place. I'm like, dude, don't go cheap. Don't do this. Don't do too much at one time. Because last thing I want is for any women reaching out to me to end up dead. Even though I know
right.
it's not my fault, they're gonna make their decision. But I
Yeah,
just want them to be okay. People reach out, and I feel like they'll reach out to me because they feel like I'm genuine and they feel comfortable.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, that's the
but it
vibe I
is
get from you. Like you seem like a genuine, and you're gonna be like real with people, when they need it.
try to.
Shit. That's the vibe I get. Especially
Yeah,
because you're a therapist. Like you got to be real.
I
I
got
mean,
to.
there are sketchy therapists from what I hear, but
Oh,
I hope that's not you.
I was gonna say I've had some experiences because I feel like to go. I feel like to be a therapist, you got to go to therapy. So I have been to therapy because I've gone through things. Everybody's
Mhm.
gone through things. But yeah, there's people that are sketchy. There's people that are fake. There's people that are fraudulent.
Yeah,
You have everything. It's like a cop. You have good cops, bad cops. People always make this argument. I'm like, you got both worlds.
I met some cool ass cops. I met some dickhead cops.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's like it's not fair to say just this person is like this and this person is like that.
Yeah,
It's like meeting different people that I've met too. I'm like, okay, these people are cool. These people aren't. Different types of athletes, different types of people. You meet people and you're like, man, they're cool as hell. And some of them just aren't.
yeah,
But
that is true.
yeah, but on the cosmetic thing, I definitely see that it's more of an addiction issue. I think people become very addicted to that. And like my mom says it like this in Spanish. She's like, no tienen llenadero, no tienen llenadero. She's like, they don't get full. Like no one gets full. No one, I've talked about this in therapy with people. No one feels fulfilled. There's no, and I'm guilty of it too, where we don't feel fulfilled. It's never
Mhm.
enough. It's never enough. I want more.
That's
I
what it
want
seems like. Because they can get the whole package done and still be like, I need to. I don't feel like I'm complete. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
Well, a lot of people don't keep up with it. There's that other thing too that we don't talk
yeah,
about. People be like, how many times do people tell me, my doctor fucked me up in my DM? My doctor fucked me up. What doctor did you go to? Because your stuff stuck on you and you were able to keep the weight off. And I said, girl, I diet and exercise. I'll be waking up at 5 in the morning to work out. I be drinking my agua de limon instead of my pop. I be eating my two tortillas a day. Right now, I had my two tacos, and even like one of them, I felt guilty because I was eating a lot of bread, so I was just eating the meat. You
yeah,
saw me over here picking like a pajarito. But I tell people, don't blame your doctor. Your
yeah.
ass ain't keep up with it. You know what I mean? Your ass, girl, but it ain't gonna be the doctor because you're gonna blame my doctor. I don't want you to do that.
And I'm gonna
You
say
know?
that's one of the things I like about this generation specifically is people seem to be more on the fit train. Like people are going to the gym more, being on their diet, we
Got
wanted to be more fit type stuff. And I feel like that's the healthier route to go if you want to get to your fit self instead of going to doctors and getting stuff removed, because I don't think that's a safe thing to do. You know?
no, it's like, you got to be, and if you are gonna go that route, because I'm not gonna lie, for some people it jump starts their fitness, and it's nice. I've known people that they really do stay on it, and they're on it, and I'm like, man, I'm happy for you. You know what I mean? You're really doing your thing, and there's people who just who don't. Who I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but I like that. I like that's probably one of the only things I like about this generation. That and how creative people are with technology. That's like the only two things I like. Everything else is kind of like on a downward slope.
No, I get you. I get you. There's a lot of fucked up stuff. There's a lot of AI now. You
Yeah,
know,
how do you feel about that? Like AI is taking a whole complete path right now.
I
Like,
love it, but because I work um writing notes, I work in an office type of setting, so it's super helpful for me because I'm a very hands-on person. I'm actually really good at writing, but if AI can do the thinking and the writing for me, I'm like, I bet do that shit. You know what
right.
I mean? Like do that. Like I don't I'm in the business of like talking to people constantly every single day. So the less thinking for me, like I'm always critical thinking, always in crisis, always critical thinking. So the less thinking, and if AI is gonna do that shit for me, I'm like, go ahead, take care of that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but isn't that like the big worry of the world? Like as AI advances, it's going to be taking people's jobs, taking people's positions, and it's just going to take over.
I don't look at it that way because you still with AI, like the apps that I use, I'm still the power over it. Like I feel like the power over it because I have to tell it what to write. I'm
Right.
telling it. Like I look at AI as like, I hope this doesn't turn back on me, but like your bitch. You know what I mean? Like, do this for me. Clean this
Well,
up
we'll
for me.
see in 20 years from now. You know what I'm saying?
I know I may be there. I know I may be. But I think ethically they have to look into that and not let it get to a certain point. There's certain AI. See, the way that I'm using AI is very different from
Yeah.
like the regular thought of AI. The a person, a robot, all this stuff. Like I'm using it more to generate notes and generate things that I need. Like
Like stuff to help you out type stuff. Yeah.
yes, helping me out, but it's what I'm asking it to write. I'm telling it to write this note. I'm giving it descriptors. I'm not saying a person's name or anything like that. I'm telling it, write me this, write me that, and then I'm editing it. So I'm still doing work because AI usually just creates like a list for me. And I'm like, okay, shit, I could put this idea, I could put that idea, and I
Yeah.
could leave whatever I want. And I'm paying for that. You know what I mean? I'm paying for a yearly app. I'm using like the Chat GPT. So it's
I've heard of that. Yeah.
the normal one that everyone's using and shit that everyone's paying for.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth it again because it saves me a lot of time. It gives me time with my children. It gives me
Yeah.
time with my fiance. It gives me time with my friends. It lets me play soccer because I'm just like doing my notes. So it gives me a lot of freedom of time because I got two jobs. So
Yeah.
I'm clocking in about 60 hours a week. So the AI really helps a person who works a lot like me
Yeah.
because I also think that AI won't ever take my job because my job is, again, solution focused. I'm constantly helping people with their problems. I'm their therapist. They want to see me. They want to make an appointment with me. I'm not seeing these people because I'm forcing them.
Yeah.
I'm private practice. So,
Right. And people don't want to talk to an AI robot. Like I feel like that'd be weird. But
I don't know.
the thing is, like with this AI advancing and stuff like that, right? Like the way you're using it's cool. Like I like that you're using it to help you out, and I feel like a lot of people are too. But at the same time, you got that other half that are using it that are abusing it. People are like trying to date AI. People are trying to do some weird shit with AI. Like
Yes.
it's a dangerous zone. I feel like.
I get afraid of that too. Yeah, I get afraid because especially like now that I'm like, popping out there more, like I had an incident like 2 years ago where somebody was like blackmailing me about something and I was like, that's not me. I'm like, that's a picture on a thing, you know what I mean? That's like my face on it. Then I didn't
Yeah,
even pay it no mind, knock on wood. I mean, I don't know if it'll come out if somebody sees this shit or something, but they had sent it to me and I'm just like, I'm not gonna pay attention to it. It goes
yeah,
into other stuff that I was like, I'm really into there's like that mal de ojo, brujeria, all that stuff. I'm like, I don't give
yeah.
it no power. You gonna do me bogus or do something behind my back? I'm not gonna give it no power. I'm gonna keep on. I'm gonna keep on going. I'm not gonna let that shit get to me. So I ignored it. But I did have an experience where I think somebody was trying to play some games and I let them play the game. I said, do what you got to do. And if it needed to get to a certain point, and it never did, but
Yeah. People
mm,
do weird shit on social media.
exactly.
Bad weird shit. Like people making other accounts of people. I'm sure that's what you're talking about, right? When someone made like an account just like yours and added
Hmm.
photos and shit. Like people
On
can
an
do
X-rated thing, and I was like, bro, that's not me. That never was me. Like, it doesn't even like look like you can tell. Like, it had like tattoos that had like nothing to do with me. Like, I'm
right.
like, that's like, you're not gonna come here. It was just like my face on it. Like somebody had put my face
And
on it.
that's what's scary about it is like they can literally like weird like these weird motherfuckers can do like a porn thing and put your face on it and be like, that's it right there. You know,
Yes. Yes, and
you
that's
know.
scary. But that's also a lawsuit if you really go into it and really dig into it. Because I have heard of people like suing people and even for using their image in this. If you can
Music,
track it, if you got, yeah, like if you got the money to really follow it through, you really
that
gotta dig
because
into that.
that shit happened to a lot of artists. It stole their voice, their likeness, all that type of stuff. And yeah, there was a lawsuit going on for sure.
Hmm.
Because how would you feel like as a someone that's in the movie business or someone that's in the music business, and someone's taking your taking your shit and putting it in the AI, and you're not getting any royalties from it. You're
Yeah,
gonna,
like
you're
that.
gonna sue for sure.
Hell yeah, dude. Fuck that shit. Like, no, I couldn't fucking do that. And all the hard work that they put into things.
Yeah,
No,
this is
no.
why like this AI thing, like it's cool for now, but I feel like it's a danger zone.
It
Because we,
needs to be monitored. It needs to be monitored for
yeah,
sure. Like closer
because I don't know
monitoring.
how people are gonna use it. I don't know if they're gonna use it the right way. They're gonna abuse it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. It's
No, you're
it's crazy
absolutely,
technology. You know.
yeah, you're absolutely right. You're right about that. Can't argue with that one.
And then the
Cause
same thing with like the Teslas, the self-driving cars. Like I don't know about
that
you, but I don't trust
shit,
it. I don't trust it.
fuck that, dude. Like hell the fuck. Like how people were falling asleep and shit in the Teslas. I'm like, no, ya valió madre. I'm like, no, you fucking falling asleep while you're fucking driving. I was like, nah, dude. I'm like, it's bad enough. Like I literally see semi like truck driver, like obviously we're like in Chicago, there's always semi drivers and shit. I be
Yeah,
seeing them, like I be peeking and like they be falling asleep in their trucks. I'm like, you're giving people the freedom, like literally, like, and you could see because they're swerving, and then you peek in there and they're literally looking, and you're like wanting to honk at them and shit. I just get the fuck away from them.
yeah.
But
I can't blame them though. They on the road. I don't know how long. So
yes,
they have to like meet like a time limit from what I hear. You know what I'm saying? They got to get to point A to point B in a certain amount of time.
yeah,
So
it's like abusive. Like they go
yeah,
through a lot, which I feel bad for them too. But I'm like, man, you got to, at that point, you got to talk to your boss. Like, man, bro, I can't be coming in there like that.
yeah. And like I think they definitely should get like enough time off after they make a trip or something. Like I don't know.
Oh yeah.
That shit, yeah, it's crazy. I can never do it. Mm.
A lot of them do like 4 straight days in a row and all
It's good.
that.
Like they get paid good money type shit, but I don't think it's worth losing the sleep and all that type of shit over. You know.
Nah, I'm good. Yeah, at that point, I'm just shit. I'll just get 2 jobs. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
do all that.
But
Man. I don't know about
but I'm gonna say, but going back to relationship and dating, right?
yeah.
How do you see the way people interact these days? Like, do you think they're looking at all the wrong things, type shit? Like the way they look at potential partners, type shit.
I definitely do. I think that people are really shallow. You know what I mean? Like they're just looking at people for like looks, their money, what they have, like status. Like it's just kind of like
Zodiac signs.
zodiac signs. Yeah, like what the fuck? Like, if that was it, nobody would be with my ass. I'm a Gemini.
Like, I didn't know the time I was born was gonna play such a big factor in the dating life. That shit
People
is
really
crazy to me.
like
Like
crazy.
people really take that shit seriously, and I mainly see it from females. When
Oh
you talk
my
to
god,
dudes, they're like, "What's your sign?" Like that's like one of the first three questions they're gonna ask that dude
they
is, "What's
do.
your zodiac sign?"
They do. I'll be honest, like I don't even give a fuck because I don't even be remembering people's birthdays. So I'd be like,
Right,
whatever.
right.
Yeah,
I be
but
like, even this year, I was like, "Shit, my birthday's in a day." Oh, cool, whatever.
yeah, dude, it's
Like
just
I forget it. I forget my own fucking birthday type shit. You know.
for real. It's so
And that
real.
was
I don't even want to remember.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't care for the signs, I don't care for the traits and all that stuff. And there's other people that just strongly believe that stuff. Like their soulmate is gonna be this specific sign, gonna have that specific traits, and it's crazy to me. It's crazy to think that way.
Yeah, because people will shut down. I think the crazy part is when people shut down people when things are going good, or make it, because that creates biases, right, in people. So like if I find out, you're a Scorpio and I'm like, "Oh, Scorpios are like this," and you
Yeah,
may have parts of that trait, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to mesh together fine. Like if we develop a good relationship, we develop a good relationship and it's like, okay,
yeah,
great. You know what I mean? But when people let that stigma, because it's creating a stigma based off of a zodiac sign, you know
yeah,
you're creating a stigma. It's like, come on, dude, shit was going fine. We were just at the movies eating fucking nachos and now you don't want to talk to me because I'm a Scorpio. Like what doesn't make any sense.
I just think it's very. My favorite word is to use is delusional. So I think it's very very delulu to think that type of fucking way. And it's
Yeah.
funny. It's funny because the way I explain it to them, like, okay, you could take a bunch of Scorpios, put them in one room. I bet you every single one of them is going to be different. They might have some little similarities, but they're gonna all have their differences. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
exactly.
to
I
take
believe.
all of them and say that they're the same, you're not gonna talk to each and every one of them is crazy to me.
Yeah,
It's
the people
very
who.
crazy because I'm an Aquarius myself, and I met other Aquariuses. I'm nothing like them. You know what I'm saying? We have completely differences and shit like that.
Yeah. People are very, will feel strongly about, like I said, like I'll hear things about Aquarius, or like I said, Gemini. Like people will come to me, I'm a Gemini, and people be like, "You're two-faced. You're two-faced." I said, "Look, the only two faces I have is I'm very, very nice," because I be getting tired of people telling me that. I'm like, "I'm very, very nice." I said, "But if you do me bogus," and I said, "and I think that's just somebody with a strong personality like me." I said, "I love really hard. I'm really passionate. I'm really, really nice and loving and funny and all that. But when you cross me over and it's really bad, I'm like this intensity, how the way I've been, right? My genuine self, but
Yeah.
evil. And is I hate that about myself because then I'm just like evil. Like every time I see you, I'm looking at you. I'm like a grudge holder, and it's bad for me. I'm a therapist. I shouldn't. But I feel like I'm really nice. I give people a lot of. I'm very nice. I'm a very kind person. I'm a very open person. I'm very welcoming. When people meet me from social media, they're like, "I didn't think you were gonna be like that." And I'm like, "How did you think I was gonna be?" "Oh, you kind of look like this, and you're gonna be mean." I'm
Yeah,
like,
see, I don't like the assumptions either. You know what I'm saying? I don't like when people assume shit about people without meeting them. And that's a big thing in this generation too, especially on social media. So that's funny you brought that shit up. You know, they
"Yes,
can assume because they took a certain picture and their face is doing something. Oh, they look mean. Yeah, they're a mean person.
yep,
But you haven't even spoke a word to that person. How you gonna say that? You
yep."
know?
And no, exactly. Or people like me, like for example, me traveling because I travel a lot. They're like, "Oh, it's because you got money in this." I'm like, you don't know how long I've had those tickets for. You don't know how I got, like, I'm like, you don't know that, like, I used the coupon code. You don't know, like, you don't know any of that. You're just assuming that I have this, that. You don't know that I got my shit, my outfits on Shein and used the 50% off coupon. Like, you don't know none of that. You know what I mean? You just
You get your
assuming.
fits on Sheen too.
You said what?
You get your fits on Sheen too.
Hell, for my vacations, I do. I'm like, I ain't gonna use that shit again.
Nah, I mean I use Sheen all the time. I heard it was the other one that they be stealing like your credit card information and shit.
I don't
What
know.
was
They've been bringing
That's
that
with the
shit.
T. It starts with a Timu. That shit.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the bad one. That's what I heard. But
yeah.
Sheen is cool. I do my shopping on Sheen all the time. I don't care.
Yeah. I know the other day I made a post. I was like, I'm gonna fuck what nobody says. She until the day I die. I'd be there.
I haven't heard anybody knock Sheen either. Like people be finding shit they like on Sheen. Oh,
Bougie bougie ass people will say shit like this, that. I'm like, bro, it
oh,
is
because
what.
it's not Louis. Okay.
Yeah, like, and and I'm big on, like, I collect purses. I collect Louis Vuitton purses. I collect like Gucci. And I don't buy one every other month. Okay, I bought one like yearly or something, and I get my shit, I got my shit back when Louis was lower cost, because now it's gone up. It's going up like $150 each year, which that's a different topic. But my clothes, I always tell people my clothes is cheap. I make the clothes, I make the outfit, I make what it is, and maybe I'll accessorize it a little bit, but
Yeah.
I just bought my first pair of red bottoms the other day because I was like, I am not buying those fucking shoes, you know? And
Yeah.
I just bought my first pair. I cracked, you know, and I was like, fine. You know,
Yeah.
everybody else doing it. Like, right what we talked
Nah.
about earlier.
But fuck what the bougie people say. If you could put the fit together and make it look good, you're solid.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
you don't need a fucking Gucci jacket to match your Gucci shoes and a I don't know, an expensive pair of ripped jeans to put that shit together. You don't need that. You know,
Exactly.
you can find those same pair of ripped jeans for cheaper somewhere else. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You're right. You're right.
With a nice jacket and shoes to match that shit, it'd be the same fucking thing. And the thing is, people don't understand is if you're out there wearing Gucci and out there wearing these name brand shit, no one really gives a fuck. And if they do, then guess what? Like they're looking at you some type of way, like you a rich douchebag type shit. You know?
And why would you want anybody to just like you based off of like what you have? You know what I mean? Like it's nice if you collect, like I said, like I collected. I don't have like 100 fucking purses, but I did collect, you know, a couple of them. And I don't really buy now. On the other hand, I don't buy regular purses because I'm like, I have these expensive purses. I'm not spending 60, $70 on a new purse every month, like how other people do. I invested on a purse, you know, like maybe for a special occasion or something like that. But
Yeah,
it took years to develop the collection. It wasn't like all the time, you know.
yeah.
Cause fuck that. I can't, like, I see some girls, I'm like, man, nigga, motherfucker, you got a new bag every month. I'm like, I can't, I don't know. Mm-mm. Like,
And
I can't do that shit.
that's the other trait people look for in dating is the if you're making money. Like the money's like one of the
Oh,
big ones. You know what I'm saying? From what I see, it's if the female's looking for a dude, it's the height. They gotta be like 6 foot or taller. You know,
oh, yes.
the zodiac sign. They gotta be the right zodiac sign, and then they have to be making six figures.
It's
That's
crazy because,
ridiculous.
yeah, I never, like, for me, I remember looking for somebody, like, I was always looking for somebody. I remember the guy I'm with now.
Hmm.
I remember I was friends with this girl. We're not friends anymore. We ain't gonna say no names. But oh my gosh, people in Chicago might watch this and they probably will know who I'm talking about. And this girl was in my ear telling me, like, date him, he's got money, he's this, he's that. And at that time, I was in love with a piece of shit. We ain't gonna go there, but we're not gonna go
We
into
all been
that because
there.
my
We
guy
all
might
been
watch
there.
this.
We all been
I
there.
was in love. Yeah, I was in love with this piece of shit, and he knew about it. Like my guy that I'm with now, he knew about it. But people were in my ear. Be with him. He's gonna do this. He always buys the stuff. He always takes us out. He's always this. He's got the money. He's got this. He's got the the.
Like just
And I'm
because of
like,
that.
and I literally told him one day, I'm like, I confronted him about it. I said, people are in my ear telling me this, that, because he was chasing me. You know, my fiance, he was chasing me. I was like, people are telling me this and that. And like, we got to wait until like I'm ready to be with you. And there were some other things we had to hash out. But I'm like, we got to wait until I'm ready to be with you. I'm not going to be with you just because you have money. And I told him that because I knew that he was like splurging and doing things in front of me. I'm like, that's not what I want from you. Like,
Yeah.
I want you, the genuine you, when me and you are laughing and eating chicken fingers and with our braces, we both had braces when we first met. I'm like, I want that us. I don't give a fuck about everything else. I'm like, right now I'm going through something and I want to do this, but I'm not going to be with you for your money and for your this and for your that and who you know. And I don't care about none of that. I want to be with you because of
Yeah.
who we are together. Because back then we were friends. I was like, because of who we are together. And then I ended up falling in love and all that bullshit.
I feel like that's
But
the best way to start though. Like you start off as friends and you become best friends and then you just move up that ladder. A lot of people just skip that whole fucking friendship thing and just go straight into dating and then wonder why that shit's not gonna go anywhere.
you got to be patient. People
Right.
aren't patient. This man was a saint. He was so patient with me. And to this day, we're almost 10 years in. And my mom always tells me, like, you needed him because he's so patient with you. He's like, you need a patient. My mom's always like, you needed a patient man. She's like, with all the shit you got going on and all you do. And, you know, I'm very hyper and all this shit. And I was like, she's like, you needed a patient guy like that. And I'm like, and he sure as hell, he was patient with me. Cause like I said in the beginning, people were at my ear get with him. That's funny you bring up the topic because people were in my ear. Be with him because of this. And he gonna do this. And he
I'm
gonna do that.
saying like that. People make that like, oh, he's buying, he has money, he's doing this. You have to date him. You have to be with him. But it's like,
Yeah.
actor, where's your money at? You know?
Yes. Exactly. Like what the fuck? And I was in college back then, so I was doing decent. I had my little first job, getting my feet wet and shit. Had my little bachelor's degree. Now I got a master's degree. But back then, I'm getting my feet wet. Like, I don't need him. I was kind of like independent or the Guyosa, like I don't need his money and this. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's appealing, right? You see it and you're like, man, that's cool. But in my heart, I'm that genuine where I'm like, I ain't gonna be with you. If not, I'd be with the next basketball player in my inbox. I mean, I've had people in my inbox. I've had people in my inbox, okay? And if not, if that was the case, then I would just
Like
sure
like
blue check
like
mark. Yeah.
like professional basketball players in your inbox.
I've had people in my inbox.
Professional that's just crazy. I feel like when it comes to NBA players, they just they go and inbox whoever at this point because they're like, I'm
I've
there.
had people
So
from I've had people from like singers entourages and invite me to things, and my fiance has seen it and he sees who it is, he sees, oh,
like that's kind of
Drake's
cool though.
this.
Like you don't have like even just to see, you're like, oh shit, like look who's hitting me up. I feel like that's kind
Yeah.
of cool.
Oh,
You know?
I remember when the one time that I had one of Drake's, I'm not gonna say who because I don't even want to.
Yeah,
I had like one of Drake's.
you don't got a name drop. Yeah.
I know. I'm like I had one of Drake's friends invite me to like a hotel thing, but again, and I showed it to my fiance because I was like, this is cool as hell. But even in the lingo that they use, like they're like basically just come over to fuck. Like like they don't tell you that, but the lingo they're using, it's so like snapping their fingers, like you gonna come or not, because I'm gonna go on to the next. Like the way they talk to you, and I'm like,
You see,
nah.
you see what fame and all that shit do to you. Even if you know
Yeah.
someone famous, you just the ego fucking goes up. Like I don't
Yeah.
like that, man. I don't like that.
I was like, damn, you're just part of an entourage. I mean, Drake was there. I could have met him. I could have touched him. I mean, I'm sure he would have shook my hand. What up? You know what I mean? Like, I would have probably had a non-disclosure agreement. They do that when you go to the things. He's famous for Drake is very known for doing that. So all those things are in the back of my head, and then in the back of my head too. Primary is like I'm gonna be loyal to my person. I show them that, hey, look, it's cool, but yeah, like that's fucked up, right? That this person is in my DM like this, but look it to the extent that it is. You know what I mean?
Which
For
I
people
which I do respect you a lot for that because there's a lot of times where couples would go to like a concert or like backstage or something, and then the female will go and kiss that famous person, or the famous person would do some flirty stuff right in front of the dude, and the
yeah,
dude's just sitting there, standing there looking crazy, and it's like, damn, like she didn't
yeah,
have to do all that. And it just
yeah,
looks bad. Like that, it shows that she would leave that man for any amount of money, for the fame, for the clout, for all that kinds of shit, and that's crazy to me. You know,
I've seen that, but there's there's some of everything out there because like I was friends with somebody who was like that, and we were like night and day. I mean, I loved her to death when I was friends with the person, and I would see her do certain things, and then got caught up in messy stuff. And thinking back now, I'm like, damn, that was such a helpless situation for that person because I was never gonna get them unstuck from
yeah,
that. I'm the one that ended up in. I don't know where that person's at. I'm not gonna get into that, but I'm in a relationship. I'm glad I took the route that I took, and like I said, I could have taken a lot of other paths, and I still could, but I choose my path
yeah.
that I want.
I would definitely say the relationship path later on is the route to go. I don't know why it's so downplayed
Yeah,
nowadays to be in a relationship. Like I never understood that. Especially like later on because I went through my little phases. You know what I'm saying? Especially
of
when I was
course.
a younger age, I went through my phases, and eventually I was like, this is stupid. You know, I'd rather just have like I went to myself. I was like, I'd rather just have that one female to just ride it all the way through with. That seems better than trying to keep up with 10 different females on a fucking roster and shit like that. No, that shit. No, it was stressful to me. It
Yeah,
was too much for me.
no, for sure, for sure.
You know, I don't understand why it's so downplayed.
No, for sure. It's just I feel like people feel like And people think, okay, I'm too picky, right? It's like you can't pick and choose when to be picky and when not to be picky, you know?
Right. Well, with that, like I know there's a difference between like red flags and having icks. I
Mm-hmm.
learned that recently that there's a difference between icks and red flags. You know what I'm saying? Like icks could be
But
like
what
I
is
don't like, huh?
yeah. What do you see it as? Like icks and red flags? Because I know red flags real well, but like icks.
Everybody do. But from what I was explaining, like icks can be something as small like let's say you with your fiance right now and you don't like the way he sits on the couch. Like if he sits some type of way and like you don't like it and it's an ick because I don't know, like it makes you not attracted to him less or some shit. That's what an ick is. You know,
Mm,
it's something small and stupid. I think it's something someone definitely invented, like the
I got a
word.
lot of icks, but I still love him. You
Right.
know, I got a lot
Like
of
you're gonna
icks.
have things that you don't like all the way about somebody, but
Hmm.
like people, the way they treat these icks is like if they see that, then they're like, no, I don't want to be with that person. It's like another version of a red flag, just not as big. That's what I got explained.
That's the other thing though. Like I feel like people pull out of shit for stupid reasons. Like if I left him for all the times that he leaves the fucking garbage right there, and I'm like, bro, that's you only got one job. Like he'll be like, well, I swept or I did this, motherfucker. I didn't ask you to sweep. I asked you to take out the garbage. You know what I mean? Like I didn't tell you to do that. And if I left him for every time, because sometimes I do be feeling like this mother, you know what I mean? I'm going to pack my bags over some garbage. And then I'm like, okay, I have to tell myself, like, calm the fuck down. You
Or
were
you
having
think it
a
would be throwing the chancla at him before packing the bag?
nah, I pack the bags. I don't want to be abusive. Nah, but
Hey, I wasn't taught that that was abusive. You know what I'm saying? I was taught that was discipline type shit.
no,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. No, and I mean, but if I left him every time that I got pissed over that ick, that I have, or because it's not really a red flag. It's like the
right? It's
guy's
something
tired.
small.
Yeah, he works like crazy, gets up at 4 in the morning.
Trooper.
We're both mutual. We share the bills. We're both providers, but um I'm not gonna put him, I'm not gonna put him down for that. I might bitch a little bit, but it is what it is,
There's
like,
nothing wrong with that. You know, what's a relationship without a little bit of argument?
oh, it's
And
necessary.
that's the other thing too. People don't understand that either. People break up for one small argument these
Mm,
days. Like they just don't want to deal with it. Cool, get through it, talk that shit out, move on,
yes.
get on to
That's
the
the
next
number one.
fucking day. You
That's the
know,
number one I tell people in couples therapy. They're like, I'm ready to throw in, or I'm ready to, and I tell them, I said, so you've tried everything. I'm like, I'm looking at them like, so you've tried everything, because I'm like, if you're ready to do that and you're saying you still love this person, but now you're ready to throw in the towel, I'm like, so you're telling me because you genuinely love this person, you've tried everything. And they look at me like, well, what's everything? Well, let's get cracking. Like, let's get to it. Okay, let's do, what do we gotta try? Are you having sex? Are you not having sex? Are you guys not talking? Is your work schedule
and
off?
believe it or not, sex plays a big fucking role. Like if you haven't
Oh,
had sex for like months upon months, like shit's gonna get toxic real fucking quick.
it should never even get to that point where it's months against,
It should.
months. And we
How are
should
they
talk
going that
about,
long without it?
yeah,
You
it's
know,
yeah,
that's given. That's a necessity. That's part of the necessity of a relationship on a daily basis.
yeah.
More than that, I would say. But
It is. It
you
is
know,
in a relationship is very important, but you know, people will they won't come together and have a discussion on it. It'll be like the elephant in the room, and it shouldn't be the elephant in the room, especially when you've been with somebody for a long time. It should
yeah.
not be the elephant in the room. It should be a comfort. You should feel comfortable with your partner. And I tell people that all the time. And if you're not, if there's trauma, if there's resentment, if there's, you got to hash that out. If not, you're going to be miserable,
Hmm.
both of you. So I always say that to people. And like, it's make
And
it
that's what I usually see though. Like it's either none of them are talking at all, none of them are communicating, or one person's trying to communicate and the other person is just wanting to argue, just to argue. You know,
yeah.
I don't see both of them communicating like that. I mean, I'm sure like there's those small relationships that it does happen, cool, and they're
Yeah.
gonna prosper, but the rest of these relationships, nah,
Yeah.
it's just gonna continue to be toxic.
Yeah. People are avoidant. People have very avoidant characteristics in their personalities these days where they're just like, I don't want to talk about it, or I'll just, and I'm like, bro, like, even if you break up, I tell people, like, it's so toxic to be avoidant. It's toxic for you to avoid it, even leaving the relationship, because you should be able to get it out and say, how you're feeling, what you're feeling, and people don't want to.
And I ain't gonna lie, that shit drives me crazy too. You know,
Avoiding.
especially with a significant other. Like if they don't want to talk and you're like, "What's wrong?" Nothing. That word gets on my nerves. I'm not gonna lie. When they say nothing because clearly something's wrong,
Yeah.
that bothers the fuck out of me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but that's them being avoidant. That's them avoiding it, instead of just saying I had a bad day at work, instead of just saying I don't feel good, instead of just saying I'm on my period, instead of just saying, like,
Right.
something
If they
like,
would have said that, especially like I'm on my period, I'd have been like, okay, cool. Like, what you want me to get you? You know, you gonna chill out. I'm gonna go in the other room. You just let me
exactly.
know whatever you need. I'm gonna bring it to you, and I'm gonna head my ass back to the other room and let you chill.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
exactly.
You know.
That's the right thing to do, but people are expecting a lot of the times, because of their experiences in their past relationships. Many people are not expecting it to go that route, so they're not used to that. And I've been in all types of relationships. I've been in an abusive relationship before. I've been in a relationship where this person did not give a fuck about me, and I gave a fuck about them. And I can't bring that into this relationship. It's different. It took me a while to get used to this, being actually, like, emotionally taken care of versus, and I mean, it's not always like that. It's not always perfect, but you
Yeah.
can't bring that in. I can't just expect. And early on, I would have difficulties with that, but now I feel like I'm more used to the relationship that I'm in now. You
Yeah.
know, Took
And
time.
and the way I see those past relationships was just learning experiences because you went through all that and now you're with the one that you want to be with now. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
all
So
life is. Yeah,
it's
life is.
it's a learning experience. Like I used to knock myself down for my past relationships. Especially like when I was that innocent one. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I still sometimes knock myself to this day, but I'm like, you know what? It was a learning experience. Like I learned a lot.
No, it's
You know,
difficult, because I also people don't realize that breakups can be very traumatic for people. Like, it's just like, it's a breakup, everyone, and I'm like, it's a breakup, but it can still be traumatic for you.
it's different these days. Like they break up with you, and then you find like you're blocked on all social media platforms, and it's like, bro, it didn't have
Yeah.
to be that deep. Like
But do you think that people can, I guess this is a question that's been coming up a lot. Do you think that exes can remain friends?
yeah, especially if they started off as friends. I feel like they could. I don't really understand why if they started off as friends, then got in a relationship and then broke it off, and then there's just like nothing. I don't understand that because that's how y'all started.
Yeah.
If y'all can just re cooperate with each other again, get back to that same vibe you had before you were dating, you could definitely be friends.
I've
Now,
heard, I've heard
now
that.
if you're talking about getting back together with that person, that's a different story.
But
Because I
see, that's my thing. That's what I was gonna go into. I was gonna walk into with your first statement. Like, most of the times breakups are not mutual. They're
mm,
usually not. And as a therapist, I can tell you that most of the times breakups are not mutual. One person has more animosity than the other. And
yeah,
then what happens is the one that has less animosity, or still has some sort of feelings, wants to still be attached and be friends, and the one that has the animosity is like, all right, fine. And then they get annoyed by that person. So that's what I see a lot happen. That's what I was going to get into.
it could be because the one that had less animosity is still in that mindset that they're together, even though they're friends. Type like he didn't get unused to the fact that they were dating. Is what I think.
And then people
I
are
could
like,
be
"Oh,
wrong.
you're cock blocking me," and you're the, I'm like, I don't know. I didn't tell you how to say to be friends. And then because I have people come in, I have people talk to me, and I'm like, I tell them, I'm like, I told you it was gonna be. They come in, and I'm sitting there like, you know what I mean? Come on in, let's talk about it, because I'm like, this is realistically something that comes up, like, just in conversation in general when I talk to people.
Yeah,
um, it's come up, and people will ask me questions, and I'm like, I don't tell you what to do, But I'm going to ask you, what do you think are the possibilities and certain scenarios that can come up being friends with your ex and going out and inviting them out and, this, that, and third. And they get to thinking, they're like, and both sides, the one with animosity and the one without animosity, the one that still likes the person, the one that doesn't like the person, they both get to thinking like, I don't know about this. Like, you got me thinking now. Like, think about the scenarios, because once you're in the scenario, you can't back the fuck out. You in that scenario, and now you got to deal with it.
Yeah,
No one's
that's
there to
true.
save you.
That's
Yeah,
true. So
yeah.
I
So
mean, do you think most of the time they can become friends after a breakup?
I don't.
You don't? Is it
I've
just
seen
because like
too many
there's that?
issues.
Is it just because they already like went through the whole, what did you call it? Like the whole dating process, all of that stuff, going right back to friends. Like, you think it's just because they know a little too much about each other, maybe?
I think they know too much, and I think they've already crossed a line of intimacy that you can't go back from it. You cannot go back from it
Yeah,
when you've been intimate with somebody. Again, then going back to the generation, if you're able to dissociate and detach, this goes into the psychology of it. If you're able to do that, there's probably other issues, but most people can't
for real.
detach and
Yeah,
dissociate like that. Most people can't just, you know what I mean? And people be like, later on down the line, I tell people, later on down the line, what you need your ex for? You got a new man, you got a new girl. What you need your ex for?
that's another thing. Like, if they break up, why is it that the one of them wants to get back together just like that? Like, they're like, "Fuck, I miss that person. I want to get back." Even if it was toxic, like they still want to go back. Why do you think that is?
First of all, I think that's fine when it's mutual. When it's not, that's where ya valió verga, como dicen. You know what I mean? Like, ya valió. But I think that people get lonely. I think that's number one reason people get lonely. People reminisce, and then they miss that. People see you shine, and you always hear people, oh, now I'm shining, now this person right now, you want me back, woo woo woo, in the songs.
Yeah,
I think that's another one too. You know, she got a BBL now. I want to get back with her. Like all this stuff that comes up. Like that, or oh, he got this car. A lot of times it's materialistic. Think about the generation. Because I'm a level up. If I'm hurt and I'm this, what do they say? The best revenge is revenge this and revenge body and
yeah.
revenge face and revenge new nose or whatever the fuck. And
Revenge new nose. That's crazy.
I don't know. I'm just making shit up at this point. I'm just thinking, laughing.
The ex had a big nose. This one got a small nose. We upgraded. Fuck.
No, I'm thinking about how a lot of people have been getting their nose done. So I'm just like, I'm like revenge something, but I'm thinking about Khloe Kardashian, but for me, I think it's that it surpasses that, where there's different reasons for everything, but in this generation, I think it's more that you see the person leveling up. Sometimes you see that person moved on, and a lot of people are spiteful. Said it yourself. A lot of people like to start shit,
Yeah, they do. A lot of people like drama.
especially with alcohol involved. They've been seeing you at the party, and they,
You gotta
let's
pick
not
and
this.
choose who you're gonna bring with you. Like, if you're gonna go on a night out, you gotta pick and choose who you're gonna bring with you.
Mm-hmm.
You really do, because you gotta see them drunk and see how they act, and if they act unaccordingly, like, not to go out with them again, type stuff.
Whew. Whew. I'm the type. I fall asleep and shit when I go. If I get too drunk, I fall
That's the
asleep.
perfect one right there. You just fall asleep. Cool. You had a good night.
But
Versus
then
if
everybody's like, talking shit. You fell asleep at the club. You this but then I hear about the next one. They were fighting at the club. I'm just like, girl, I was asleep. Sleep.
That's what I'm
Like I was
saying.
gone.
Would you rather be the sleeper or the fighter? Like, I would rather be the sleeper, to be honest with you.
I'd rather be the sleeper.
Because like
Because I won't get drunk if I'm in the wrong hands. Like I won't get drunk if I'm out with like I will only get drunk probably like around my man and stuff. Sometimes with like good friends, good girlfriends. I don't know if I can always trust. I don't have a lot of guy friends though. That's a whole nother thing. Um, that's a whole nother discussion. I don't have a lot of
you're
guy friends.
always trying to shoot their shot, aren't they?
I was gonna say usually by choice.
I already know. I already know how that goes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I already
I
know.
wish I did. I wish I did because like I've talked to guys and like they're really cool and they're really nice and it's not even about my guy because my guy's not up my ass that badly. You know what I mean? He's jealous. as I have a lot of male followers and he sees shit, but he's
Yeah.
not like to the point where I like I play co-ed soccer, I have coaches that are men. I have, like he's not like that, right? He knew I was going to do a podcast with you.
I'm
He
about to
wasn't.
say, cool on him for being cool with you being on here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like he's not the type to do that, but yeah, guy friendships typically don't work out with me.
Which is crazy. I just think
You
it's really just because dudes these days can't really control themselves. Like I said, they see an attractive female, and they're like, "Fuck!" Like if I don't shoot my shot, like who knows what's gonna happen. Versus like someone like with my mindset, I'm like, I'd rather just be friends and see how that goes, type of shit.
yeah.
I'd rather just be
Build a
friends,
connection.
have them be like cool homies. We there for each other, type shit. Versus not having them at all later on. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
You know?
And the issue is that you got to go with the vibe. Like, if I'm sitting, because sometimes it's so blunt. Like, you'll be sitting there talking to a guy about your family, your kids, you this and you that. And I've seen it where people like will still try to shoot their shot. Like,
Even
motherfucker,
if
I
you tell
told you how
them
to go.
no, even if you tell them
Right.
no, they'll still be.
Like, I'd be like, I just told you I'm about to go make this man a torta for work tomorrow. And you know what I mean? Like, you trying to take me to go, to
Dude,
the Bulls game. Like, it's like,
the
bro,
bull,
like, that I'm
dude,
just, bro,
dudes
I'm
are
drunk.
dudes are bold. I'm just gonna say that dudes are gonna be bold these days. That's
Some
just the.
girls are too, though. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard some
And I like
shit.
that though. I like that though because the females that are bold aren't afraid to go approach the dude and be like, "Yo, you're attractive. I'm gonna talk to you. I want to talk
Yeah.
to you and shit." And I like that because I'm like we're so used to the dudes going up to the females to talk to them and shoot their shot. But in my case, like if a female comes and talks to a dude, it's like okay, the dude already knows the female's attracted to him. He doesn't have to really waste his time. He
But
already
shit,
knows.
you got to know how to flirt. Earlier, you were talking about knowing how to flirt. A person's got to know how to flirt. Like, some people are so awkward about it.
Yeah.
Man,
What do you mean
they
you like me? Like motherfucker, she just said it.
I know, right? Like, and I think, but that's another misconception too, though, because like you gotta catch the vibe. You gotta catch the vibe, like, and it has to be the right moment and the right time and the right, not like let's get this person fucked up and dude, like catch the vibe. Don't do it that way. You know what I mean?
She
Like,
already likes you. I need to get her drunk for it. The fuck?
exactly. And you shouldn't be getting her drunk like that if she doesn't like you. But because that's a whole nother ordeal. But like
But
it's
that's a whole case if I'm not mistaken.
exactly no, like don't do it that way, but that's why I'm saying you gotta really know you have to have those social cues where you're ready to like yes, like this is working, and then you gotta be able to pull out if it's not. Like, say clearly this is not gonna be it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, in conclusion, I don't think this generation is gonna get better, but I have hope. I have hope. I
I
have
don't
hope. You know,
know.
like I'm like in that. I'm that guy. Like you gotta have hope, but hope for the best, expect the worst type shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much shit's gonna go down, but I think it's gonna get worse, but I hope it's gonna get better. That's my.
Yeah.
Are you kind of on that same boat too?
I think if people are willing to change, I think that because there's got to be a change in certain things, but there's some things that we can't change. There's like social media, like the influences that we have.
Yeah, that's always gonna be around. As long as the internet's up, that's always gonna be around.
Yeah, making things look a certain way.
Mhm.
It's just one of those things where it's just gonna be up to the people and wanting to change, like the youth, the younger ones, to want to change it up. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll
I'm
see in the
trying. I can't be the only one. I can't be the only.
right.
You know. But we are about at that hour mark. But before we end it off, I do have a Q&A, 5 questions. People that watch the podcast and view the podcast or and listen to the podcast, they're the ones that ask the questions and stuff like that. So some of them are going to be bold, possibly, but just answer them as best as you can.
Gotcha.
All right, let's get on with the first one.
What's my
What
type?
did I tell you?
Okay. What's your type in a man? Are you able to read it or do I read it? Okay.
We
What's
yeah,
your type?
we can both read it. Yeah, yeah.
My type, well, personality is big. Like, gotta be funny. Um, I gotta feel safe around the person. I don't really think that has to do with size and
So
that.
so being safe has nothing to do with the height, right?
No, no, because you could feel safe with a guy that's any. I mean, my guy's pretty tall, but that was like rant. Like I told you how we were. I was like, meh, but
Yeah.
ended up falling in love with him because he made me feel safe. I
Mhm.
felt safe around him, especially because some women have had rough, relationships in the past where they want to feel safe with the person. Um, and I want to feel like I'm able to be myself. I feel like, again, a patient man. He's very patient with me. He's accepted me for who I am. He doesn't always like certain
Yeah,
things, but I just got to be like, this is how you met me, this is how you love me, and then it grounds him, it brings him back.
I got
Um so yeah, somebody patient. Um I definitely somebody who gets me flowers. I'm really into flowers. I love flowers. I'll take that over a Gucci purse. Um
you.
or some Gucci shoes. And just somebody who wants to do better for themselves, somebody who wants to be safe for me too, to be okay. I don't want to have somebody that I'm worried about that something's going to happen to them.
Yeah,
Um, I don't want to go through that. I've been in experiences like that, and I don't want to live in that worry. So
I
yeah.
got you. I think that's a super mature response. I like that. Most guests I've had on here, like they go into describing the dude, and I'm like, here we go with that shit. But it is
No,
what it is.
I'm proof that you can have 80,000 followers and look a certain way and still, you know,
Absolutely.
be a
I
certain
like that. I like that. You're not the typical influencer people see. I like that.
thing to be.
Oh, this is a long one.
Can you try putting your head down and lay your face in your hands and breathe in and out?
Tell me
I
about
guess I'm a yoga instructor and wants to get the guest opinion. Can you try putting your head down and lay your face? What is it? I'm a yoga instructor and wants to get the best opinion. Can you try putting your head down and lay your face in your hands?
and breathe in and out. Tell me if that's
Sounds
relaxing for you.
therapeutic. So like this,
I'm guessing so. Yeah. And it said for like 10 seconds or something.
like deep breathing.
I guess so. Like the in the nose out the mouth type stuff. I don't know.
These must be random.
Was it relaxing though?
I mean, it is. I do the thing where I put cold water on my face and that, where you dip yourself with ice.
Yeah, I know about that. I didn't know that was a thing though.
Yeah. It felt
I didn't even
okay.
know I had a I didn't even know I had a yoga instructor watching my shit. Because everybody watching, I don't know. That's
Right. That's
something
good.
new. That's something new. Is that something you would actually like try like in the future? Because that's
I
something new.
Yeah, I feel like it's part of like the relaxation and deep breathing I've shown people because yoga is therapeutic. It's
So
something
what
that we tell
so
people to
what
do.
does the hands over the face do?
I think maybe just grounding yourself, covering yourself, making sure that you're not distracted from anything around. Maybe if you're somewhere where there's a lot of light or a certain environment you're in,
I got you. Hmm.
maybe.
There's a lot of science that I don't understand behind it. So I'm gonna leave that to the professionals. Bruh. Uh, yeah.
Oh Lord, you don't like this one. Um, I don't really agree with that. I kind of piggyback on what you were saying.
She's on
I
my side with it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm on your side with it. I think that there are some things that people have more of. Again, like with me, that might just be my level of intensity. Like I'm really passionate and loving on one side, but then I'm really like spiteful and like mean to you if you get me on that side. But I can be one intensity versus the other. Like I'm never like two faced with it. You're gonna get one or the other.
Yeah.
Um, but and that's what they say about Geminis, that we have two faces, but not like that. Um, because I'll say what I gotta say. But I don't believe that. Again, I just living proof myself. Um, I don't believe that, and I just I have two kids that are Aries, and they're different.
Yeah.
So I
I don't
just
even know. I don't even know the traits of those, but to the two-faced thing, I think everyone has a good side and everyone has a bad side. So to
exactly.
say
But
that
everybody talks shit about Geminis, and I'm like,
yeah,
bro, like
to say that Geminis are two-faced, I guess everyone's a Gemini then. By that
exactly.
fucking logic.
Thank you. Everybody has a level of intensity, so I'm just like whatever. Like that's who I am. So I don't. If somebody else probably is similar to that and has different levels of intensity
Right.
on moods and emotions. So
Right. And then here's the fourth one here. Let's see.
my best advice I have for someone to shoot their shot at someone they got an eye on.
Question because it's like I feel like there's different answers for that question.
My best advice is you need to be the best version of yourself before you go out there looking for somebody. Because if you're not the best version of yourself, you're gonna aim low. And you're not gonna aim at the point where you're the best version and you're aiming towards that best version of another that person who's already at the best version.
Yeah.
So if you're going through some shit, you're just gonna settle. You got to prepare yourself and be like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to get out there. Maybe I'm talking to somebody, but I'm not ready to execute the moment to be like, I'm gonna try to get with them, and be their boyfriend or girlfriend.
Yeah.
Um, be the best version of yourself. That doesn't always mean wealth. That doesn't always mean status. That doesn't always mean that. Just means like, be ready to compromise. Be ready to just be ready to go with the flow. Be ready to read the vibe. You know what I mean? And if it ain't gonna be it, it ain't gonna be it.
Right.
Don't force it. Don't force no shit. Oh my gosh, please do not force shit. Cause Jesus Christ.
You're gonna say that, and someone's gonna force it.
I know, I
That's the
know.
that's the fucked up part. Like
Literally.
someone's gonna see that and be like, I don't do that, and then they're gonna do that this weekend. Watch that shit. You know.
Exactly. So
And then this was the last. Yeah, that's another long one. What does it say?
how do you naturally cover your eyes if someone tells you to? If you naturally use both hands, that means you're genuine and sweet. If you use one hand, that means you're charismatic and have a tough personality. What the fuck? What kind of shit is this?
It's weird, but I can kind of see what they're talking about.
What the fuck is
At least a little bit. Like kind of, sort
stop
of,
peeking over?
like
um,
kind of, yeah, kind of, sort of. I could see like if someone, yeah. So if someone were to tell you to do it, would you naturally use one hand?
I feel like I would.
Okay, so that
Like
means
earlier, I felt weird doing this, so I feel like I'd just be like,
so like it feel yeah. So like it feels weird to like.
I'd want to peek.
I feel like anyone would though, because it's like, what the fuck am I covering my eyes for? You know.
Yes, like earlier, I
You
kind of got freaked out. I was like, "The fuck we doing? You want to look at the scar on my head? I got a scar already." I was like, "Fuck."
Nah, but yeah, I was gonna say because like if you naturally don't use both hands, like then yeah, it's what is it? It means that you're charismatic and have a tough personality. So do you feel like I feel like you're charismatic for sure, but do you feel like you're charismatic and have like a tough, solid personality?
I feel like I'm very tough. I feel like I'm emotional sometimes, but I feel like I'm very like I've been through some shit.
So it sounds weird that what that was saying was sounds weird as fuck. Like I've never heard of that before, but it's making sense, right?
Yeah, it just kind of makes sense because I am. People tell me all the time I'm really charming. I'm really like I like people want to be around me. People want to gravitate.
The
I always hear,
charismatic, yeah,
yeah, they're like people gravitate towards you. They gravitate like kids will love me. Like teenagers want to be with me. They're like, man, how do you do
yeah,
social? Adults like me because they think I'm nice and want to help.
yeah.
So I don't know, baby. It does.
So I mean, like I said, that's something I didn't know. I don't know
Mm.
how the fuck they know that, but I guess it's true. If you and you're charismatic and have a tough personality, you know,
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. Maybe I
Yeah.
don't know. That's something interesting. I got some interesting ones today. Weird and
Yeah.
interesting ones, but that's the beauty of this shit. I like that.
Yeah.
It makes this shit interesting for sure. I like that.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm glad no one asked like no feet shit or like no weirdo shit. Like I'm glad no one did that because that's been a thing in the past before, and no, I'm gonna tell you right now. Like I'm not a foot person, so when I was reading that, I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
You don't want to see my soccer feet because this shit ain't
Yeah.
it.
And there's some females who are like, well, I got the white toes, and I'm like, okay, like we're we're good. That's cool. They're white. I'm glad you take care of yourself, but we're not gonna get in on that, type shit.
No. No.
Yeah, no,
For
no
sure.
feet here. Like I never understood the whole attraction for it at all.
Oh, definitely. It's not. Mm-mm. Not selling
Not
feet pics.
not appeasing at all. But we're at the end of this podcast, and I do appreciate you coming on for sure. This was
Thank
fun.
you.
This
Yeah, yeah, it
is
was
fun.
fun. Good talk. Good.
I'm usually like right now I'm trying to do like more group type podcasts where it's like 4 people, 5 people, something like that. But even this one-on-one thing, this was cool. This is what I started off doing, so I like that. And
Yeah,
this was a cool vibe for sure.
for sure. Yeah, it was good. It was a good vibe.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you say you don't have a lot of male friends, but you made one here today.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
I like the vibe you bring up for sure.
For sure, for sure. I want to support and I'll, post it up and everything once it's edited and up.
Absolutely. It'd
I'll
be cool to
definitely.
bring you on a future episode too, like an actual group podcast for sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Let me know. And I travel too for stuff, so let me know. I'm down.
Absolutely. Will do. And you have yourself a good night.
All right, you too.